You guys said that you liked the last video. You actually like watching me play games, talking about games. So today, got a new game, Streets of Rage 4. But what we're going to speak about is tips, tricks, techniques, tactics to use when you're in a nightclub. Because nightclub game is it's simple but difficult at the same time. So the first thing is basically this. There's usually an extra life here. Is there not an extra life? Oh, screw it. Anyway, so the first thing about a nightclub game is you gotta have a lot of fun. Guys like to think they're gonna just go to a nightclub and like be really cool and miserable, like too cool for school. That's not really the way it works. What you gotta realize is when people are in nightclubs, they're there because they wanna have fun, right? Life is hard, they're bored of work, all this kind of stuff, and they wanna let their hair down, women especially. So the first thing that you need to realize when you're going to a club is you are there to let your hair down and have a good time. So like, how do you do that? Well, the first thing to do is to tell yourself that you're gonna have a great night. Another thing to do would be like, listen to music on the way there that's gonna get you fired up, or do things that are gonna get you fired up and put you in a good mood. Okay? Go to the club with the right venue. One great thing that's friggin' brilliant to do is when you actually, wait. Listen to this now, listen to this. Oh yeah. When you're in the club, when you arrive, don't just like go there and then be all like solitary and shit like that. Don't do that. Go there and immediately start socializing straight away. Because what guys like to try and do is they like to think, okay, so I'm just gonna go there, be on my own and do my own thing. And then when I see a girl who I like the look of, then all of a sudden this confidence, this charisma, this flair is just gonna kick in. Nah, it's not really it. What you gotta do is put yourself in that mood. So you gotta give yourself social momentum, right? Social momentum. But how do you do that? Well, the first person you see when you get in that club, high five them, engage with them, whatever it is. And notice that I said person, I didn't say woman. So you're not going to just ignore everybody else in the venue and then wait for women who are sexy that you actually do want to talk to. You're going to talk to everybody. Why? Because you get yourself into a bit of a mood and a groove and a zone where you're just like used to chatting to people. You will be in that flow, and then it'll be so much easier to talk to the women who you're attracted to, because you're kind of in the mood, you're in the groove and things like this. And then there's also a social proof element to it as well, which basically is like, hold on, let me just adjust the camera just a touch. Oh crap. Oh crap. I shouldn't have adjusted the camera. I should have left the camera. Here we go. So here's the thing. Everybody knows who like the movers and shakers are in any venue, right? I'm sure you've been out in bars and clubs and you've seen like some guys and you're like, oh, this guy looks cool. He seems to know everyone, that kind of thing. Everybody's thinking along those sorts of lines. If you are socializing and the women in that club, who are very, very, very hyper aware of who the cool men are, they see you chatting to people, laughing and joking, right? When you walk around and talk to them, well, they want you to talk to them because they've seen you talking to everybody else. Now it's like, I hope this man comes to talk to you too. Chat to everybody, get yourself into a flow, build some social momentum, and build that social proof of being that guy in the venue. You get me? That guy. Now, little bit of a history lesson for you. Yours truly has been playing Streets of Rage since when? Since about 1991. Yeah, since 1991. Since Streets of Rage 1 on the Sega Mega Drive, or as Americans would say, Genesis. And I couldn't tell you the amount of hours I spent playing this series as a kid. But I couldn't tell you. Streets of Rage 1, 1991, Streets of Rage 2, 1992, Streets of Rage 3, which I think was 94 or 95, and then they didn't make another one until Streets of Rage 4, like in 2020. Or was it 2021? I forget. But anyway, the music in this game is so good. Like, listen to that. Anyway, so here's the thing, right? You gotta have fun. Have fun in the club. Don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously at all. When yours truly used to go to clubs, I mean, it's not like I never go to them anymore, but you know, man's getting a bit old now, you get me? So man don't really do the clubbing thing as much as man used to. Back in the days when man used to go to clubs all the time, I would do all sorts of silly stuff. Like I would just like meet girls or people and I get them to rub my bald head for good luck or kiss my bald head for good luck. In fact, I might even have some video footage of me doing that with people to show you. You just gotta go and have fun. Now here's the thing. You might be there saying to me, well, Kieran, like fun is all well and good, yeah? But man ain't going to the club for fun. Man's going to the club for girls. So how does that work? Well, basically, what you gotta do is, so first things first is, when you approach a girl, have you ever seen a girl in a club on her own? And I don't mean like she just was temporarily on her own because she went to the toilet or something. Have you ever seen a girl go to a club on her own? You never have, right? Now let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a club who was have you ever seen a girl who was temporarily in a club on her own and you got talking to her and you were doing your best, right? And you're giving her all your best lines and your best lyrics and it's going really well. But then at some point, her friend comes by. And when her friend comes by, she's like, nah, I'm the cock block. You are not going to get with my friend. How dare you? And then what happens? Her friend dragged away the girl, your target, and you never saw her again, did you? And you know why that happens? Because the friend was jealous. You know why the friend was jealous? Because girls go to clubs together. Women don't go to clubs like men go to clubs. Because you see, if I go to the club with one of my boys, it's just kind of like understood that we're all men in it together. I'm going to do my thing. He's going to do his thing. And if one of us gets lucky, the other one is like on a ban to not be a bitch and to leave him to do what he's got to do, yeah? Women do not operate the same way. They simply don't. So the way women operate is their girls and they've all gone there together. And then if one of them ditches her friend, like for some guy she doesn't know, she's a terrible friend. And 9 times out of 10, women won't want to be that terrible friend. They will pick their loyalty to their friends over some random geezer who, you know, could be anyone. They'll do that any day of the week. So what you want to do is you want to talk to the entire group. So if there's 4 of them, there's 5 of them, you talk to all 4 or 5 of them. So you're not like speaking to the one that you like, you're talking to the group. So it's not like, yo, how's it going? What's your name to one person? It's, hey guys, how's it going? Now you might go, well, Kieran, need some openers. Can you give me some openers, Kieran? Need some openers? Alright, well, I'll give you some openers. My opener in the club is that I walk up to girls and I say, hey guys, how's it going? Well, I mean, I've already said that, but another one is, okay, this is another one I used to use. I walk up to them and say, hey guys, can I just ask you something? And they go, yeah, what? I go, okay, so basically, I'm all alone. I've got no friends. Nobody likes me. Can you please adopt me for 2.2 minutes of your time? I say it like that. Now here's the thing. Me walking up to them, speaking that confidently, saying that, am I actually lonely? Am I actually a guy who has no friends? Obviously not. Obviously not. But it's funny and it's cheeky. And then you get chatty. Now, assumptions are absolutely great, wonderful, and amazing. Yeah? So here's something that you'll notice. When you are talking to a group of girls and they don't know who you are, there's a initial period when they're both basically saying, hey, are we okay with this? Do we accept this man? Right? Where they're sussing you out. They haven't quite made the decision. Anyway, what will then happen is you will make statements, right? Like jokes or whatever. And every time you make a statement or a joke, they will look at each other to basically check how they're going to react to it, right? You'll find that happens a lot. When that happens, call it out immediately. So you can be like, hey, I'm guessing like you two are really great friends or sisters or something. And then they'll say something like, well, what makes you say that? And you'll be like, well, every time I make a statement, you guys are looking at each other before you reply. Or like you always look at each other before you laugh. You do that, you will notice then that they will look at each other again, absolutely laugh. They will like laugh their asses off. And stuff like that is going to get you in. Now, here's basically the deal. Your goal is to be a cool guy until the group accepts you, right? And you'll know, because like at some point they'll just kind of, everybody will kind of like relax around you. And they'll be like, okay, cool, we've got this cool guy who's here and giving us a good time. Actually, something else to say is this. When you are approaching groups of people, you've got to give them a better time than they were having before they knew you existed. If you do that, they'll want to keep you around. If you don't, they'll say, okay, it was nice to meet you, so go away. But anyway. So yeah, you're going to give them a better time than they were having before they met you. Then they're going to loosen up. And you'll feel it, you'll feel that you're one of the group and that they've accepted you. At this point now, start talking to your target. In an ideal world, your target will not even know that you like it. In fact, what you actually really want to do, if we're just going to get a little bit dark, what you really want to do is spend almost no time with the target. You want your target to be like, yo, why is it that this cool guy is talking to the whole group, but not to me? Everyone else loves him. He's clearly funny. He's charismatic. I like this guy. Why isn't he talking to me? That's it in an ideal world. But anyway, you start talking to the target. Now, the thing is this. Ooh, lovely. I just passed the stage. You do that. What am I trying to say? Your target will really want you because like the social proof of seeing you be respected and accepted by people who she deeply cares for and respects. And, but then you might even like want to transition and say things like, oh, so tell me about your friend, like to the group. And tell me something cool about your friends. Tell me a reason about her why I'd like to get to know her. Play little games as well, like call her names based on the clothes that she's wearing and things like this. Be a bit touchy-feely, a bit flirty, have fun, you're moving around, you're jumping up and down, you're dancing. Be animated. At some point, you will probably want to isolate your target. And I just say, but isolating your target is as simple as saying, hey, let's go grab a drink, or let's go for a walk, or let's go to the smoking area or something like that. And then from there, it's basically, standard game, really. So you're going to be witty, you're going to be confident, you're going to be flirty, you're going to be very touchy-feely. Nightclub game is so high energy and so high intensity that you can get away with being touchy-feely very quickly, right? So when you and your target are together, you really want to be not holding hands, but like your arm wrapped around hers, cuddling, laughing, joking, things like this. Lots of physical touch. Obviously kissing. Now, here is the thing. Do you want to get physical? You do. You do want to get physical. You do want to be kissing. But if you want to be taking her home, you will usually have a better chance of taking her home if there has been some form of comfort building that night, right? Where you're not just getting hot and heavy and physical, you're actually kind of talking as well and connecting. Where you tell her things about yourself and she does likewise. There's attraction and there's comfort. Attraction is pretty clear. I am attracted to this man and I physically want to do things with this man. Comfort is, I believe that this guy is a good human being and I think he has my best interests at heart. And you know what? Can we just give some props to the fact that I am playing this game rather well while explaining the mechanics of attraction, dealing with people, dealing with them, dealing with people. Can we just give some props for that? Can we? Yeah, come on. But anyway, yeah, you really do. So again, can you take a woman home from just pure attraction? You can do, but really and truly it's more likely to happen if she trusts you, because it's like, for her to come home with me, it's like, who is this girl? You know, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be safe? That sort of thing. Ooh, yes, I remember. Hold up. There's a way. There's a secret there. Oh, where the hell is it? Oh no, maybe I've lost it. Yeah, I think I've lost it. Anyway, is there anything else I need to say about night game? Is there anything else I need to say about a night game? Yeah. Here's something I'll say. Is it possible that you can meet a woman during night game, have a great time with her, swap numbers with her, call her the next day, and then she will pick up? Or message her and she'll reply? Yes, that's possible. But is it likely? You will find probably not. You will find that most of the women that you meet in night game, irrespective of what happens, will ghost you the next day. Because for the most part, when women meet a man in the nightclub, they just kind of assume that the man only wants one thing. Are there things that you can do to offset that and to give yourself the best possible chance of success? Yes. By like adding her onto social media and having a stronger social media presence. But the point is, you will meet women in close and you will do exceptionally well, and these girls really like you in the moment. But the very next day you'll message them and they won't reply. So what does this mean? It means that really and truly you want to go as far as you possibly can that night. Okay? Don't like try and get her number and run off so you can meet them another day. That's a mistake that guys make all the time, actually. They try and get girls' numbers and then like, because I get it, it's stressful, right? It's stressful talking to some new girl. You don't want to do it. Your heart's beating, you know, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, all right. Oh yeah. Let me just get a number, run off, and then I'll deal with this scary situation later. But the thing is, you do that, and then what will happen is, well, she just won't reply because she hasn't spent that much time with you to get to know you, and she was probably always gonna blank you anyway because women are very kind of risk averse. So push as far as you can go, for the love of God. There's something I learned from RSD Jeffing years ago. And it's some of the best advice I've ever got here. What he said is this. As you are out and about meeting women, dating men, whatever, you will often find yourself in situations where you have a choice. The choice is you can do the easy thing, not the easy thing. You can do the safe thing, which won't get you rejected, but isn't really going to bring any major success either. Or you can do the risky thing, which can get you rejected, but if you pull it off, you're an absolute idiot. And he said to always do that risky thing. And it's true, because it's from the risky thing where success happens. That's where legends are made. That's where all the cool stories come from. Those are the guys that are taking women home. You know, doing the things that you wish that you could. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about them. Having said that though, let's say you do take a woman home, and let's say you actually decide that you want to see her again. Let's say you did. So if you have taken her home and you do want to see her again the next day, you want to see her again after you've taken her home. So here's what you want to do. The next morning or whatever, when you guys wake up, you need to continue the day. If she leaves and goes home, she's going to file and compartmentalize you in one night stand from the club. Probably, don't speak to this man ever again. If you actually genuinely want to see her again, you have to stop that from happening. The way you're going to stop that from happening is by keeping the date going. So you will say to her, hey, what are you doing today? And she'll be like, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, cool. Well, let's go and do X. Let's go for a coffee right now, me and you, I know we got a bit carried away yesterday, but I genuinely would like to get to know you as a person. Nothing, outside of sex. Yeah, let's go for a walk, me and you. Come on, let's make a day of it. If you can get her to continue the date the next day, and in which you do something that has nothing to do with sex, and she just spends time with you getting to know you, then we're kind of golden. Because now she won't be able to classify you as Mr. One Night Stand who only wants one thing, because you guys went for coffee the next morning, and that turned into a 3-hour during lunch date, which then ended up with you guys going to the movies or something like that. You see what I mean? Yes, see what I mean? Oh, go away, man. But yeah, that has been it. So with that, here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to beat the crap out of this boss, and then we will consider this a video done successfully.